how did the 1v1 start out? Like, where did the idea come from in the beginning for that?
Well, it came down to a group of us, and we were trying to figure out what we could do to continue having some type of competitive paintball. I help run the USXBL, a very popular regional tournament series here in Texas, and also the Star Series, the XTPL. So I stay fairly involved in a few of the tournaments here in Texas. We got together because we were trying to figure out what could we do to keep paintball active, but still practice social distancing, because we weren't going to be able to have the big crowds that a normal tournament has in regards to, the number of players on a team, the pit staff, the spectators. I mean, even our small regional events, I mean, they get pretty big, and there's a lot of people there. So obviously with the pandemic, that was a no-no. So we were trying to figure out if we could do something that would allow us to still have an event, but be able to still have some type of competition. And so we started working on this 1v1 format. We knew that it's a foundational, it's a foundation of paintball, but we wanted to make it fun. We wanted to make it interesting to not just paintball players, but we wanted to bring a gamer aspect to it as well, which is why you've got the kill streaks, and we've got the 3 different buzzers, and it just opens up the game and adds a little more strategy to it versus just the one-on-one battle.
Right. I definitely, in playing it, those buzzers I feel like it made it more aggressive. And me and my teammates, we had to be more tactical and exactly, okay, we're going to come out on the home on the left side, and then when he follows us, we're going to move for this buzzer and go to this thing. And we definitely had to think about it in that guns with chess kind of way. But it was a satisfyingly aggressive type of format that was really fun to prepare for, and it was also fun to watch. I think that was one of the biggest things about it. It was actually really engaging to watch over Go Sports on the sidelines. It's a great format in that case.
Yeah, it's been fun, right? Because coming up with it from the very beginning, we were trying out different rate of fire. We were trying to determine, does it make sense for us to set it up where it's mechanical?
Yeah, 12.5 is heat, dude. Getting stitched up from that, from so close. I don't know what you guys were thinking, but that's all.
Well, if you think about it, at least from when I played a lot of the NXL stuff at the very beginning, I mean, we were shooting 15, right? So shooting 15, you kind of got used to living behind your gun and running and shooting everywhere, and really just using bunkers as dead zones in order to prevent somebody from shooting you. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit different style of play. So there's not as much hiding, because you can use the gun from a defensive aspect, because you're basically just you're putting paint in front of you, and as long as nobody's going to be going through that lane,
then you're good.
And yeah, right.
Yeah,
so you're using that balance of the bunkers. Control,
yeah,
right. It's a little bit of a different control mindset whenever you're just running and gunning behind your gun versus running behind a bunker the whole time and then having a gunfight out of a bunker.
Right. And one of the other things about that too is, while you're doing that in real time, you have to adjust to what the other person is doing so quickly. Like, you move and then he moves. Okay, what next? Okay, I'm going to move here. Then he moves here. And now he moves there and I'm shooting there. And it's like, you have to reevaluate.
You have to be 3 steps ahead.
Exactly. And you have to reevaluate the situation on a dime. And if you make the wrong decision, then sorry, he gets a point and a buzzer and you lose. So,
yeah. And those, those are all the different decisions happening before you even start that point, or at least that round, is where am I in regards to the score? Am I going to need to stay alive because I'm on a kill streak, or do I need to not get shot because my opponent is on a kill streak?
Right.
is it going to be beneficial for me to try and get this buzzer? Do I have a clear run to the buzzer? Can I stay alive getting there? Can I get even close to it? I mean,
Right.
all those different things are just coming into play, and
They
those
factor
are,
in heavily.
yeah, and that's part of the decision of playing each round is that every round is going to be completely different.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous too, because like, dude, you need a coach in this kind of format because you have a minute to fill up on air, fill up on paint, wipe the things down, and be ready to go again. You don't have the mental capacity to take into account all those different factors of what's going on in the field and how do I need to react to that. It's like, you're busy. You need to outsource that to someone else to take care of that. So thank God for Jeff and Keith for doing that for me and each other, because it would be, I would come back, they would wipe down all of my 20 paint hits and say, okay, you're down this much. You need to do this. A buzzer will help you get here. Don't let him get this. Go kill him. And
Yeah.
game plan, and I didn't have to think about it, because if I had to think about it, I would be lost. I would just be gone. I would. So that's again, I love this format so much because it works your brain and it works your athleticism as a player.
Oh, I agree. But it's not just athleticism when it comes to this format. We've had the Masters division, and a lot of those players have played paintball for so long, and obviously they're up in age, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not going to be as fast and quick as the younger players and the more athletic players. Sure. So those guys, they really use this mental strategy, and it shows. So you can still win rounds by not having to run all over the place. You just got to pick the right bunkers, the right control spots, and you got to be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love this. I think I was watching, I don't remember which one it was, but somebody had mentioned, it was you or somebody else, about how what position you play kind of dictates how you play in the 1v1. So when you describe like the Masters division, I think of, like back center players or back corner players where they're just being a lot more methodical, energy conservative and efficient with what they're doing and just trying to maintain control of those. And whereas like you'll see front guys and they're just darting for the buzzer because that's what they know and love.
Right.
So yeah, watching the Masters division as a younger person, and I play front, like I'm diving in the snake left and right. So I don't like being in the back too, but watching the Masters division and seeing them try to pin each other seems to be the best way to put it, where it's like, for some reason, the guy just was able to get on an angle on him and tag him out. And it's just kind of an alien. It's not the kind of play style that I myself play as, or I imagine a lot of people play with. And it's cool because you can see that at work. So
yeah, it breaks down the game, right? It definitely shows you the difference between playing the front style player compared to being the anchor or the support player, and what it takes in order to be able to play that position and how you would play it. It's a very methodical approach, like you're saying. It's their goal is to control and to cut off areas where another person can move, which is what really introduces that whole chess aspect to the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One of the things, I think I'd mentioned this before, but one of the things that I was talking, actually, I'll preface this. My dad is a giant St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan, like has been since 1960 something. And him and I were talking about this, about sports as an audience, from an audience perspective, right? And he said, as a baseball fan, if I can say that if you don't really care for baseball much, it is so boring on TV, you cannot believe it. You can't. It's not a spectator sport, and because of that, it's not as popular. But actually going there in person is like skyrockets in sales because it's just a different experience. What I've found with paintball, 5-man in particular, is that it has a really hard time translating as a spectator sport, because there are so many different things at play. And when things start to collapse, like one person dies and then the snake moves up and then he starts to get people from there, even those big moves like that, they don't translate very well. At least it doesn't seem like, in the game's format. With the 1v1, it's so different because it's so much more engaging for the audience because they can see everything that's happening. Every small move comes off as a big move, and it's just fun to watch. It's fun to get hyped up and be invested in the players that are in it. It's a really different experience in watching paintball. It really is. It's very unique in that way.
And that's really what we're going for, right? And we want to be able to put paintball in front of somebody that doesn't normally watch it and be able to just turn on one of the shows and from the very beginning, just kind of follow along and then say, wow, I've never really followed paintball before, but this is interesting. It's a game. I get to watch two people compete for a certain goal. I can keep track of player A versus player B and know that the scores, X and the score for the other player is Y. But if this player gets a buzzer or this player gets a kill streak, then they might be able to tie it up. But now they're going to be like 2 points away from finishing.
Right. And there's drama and there's tension and you can feel that. You can be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that makes this interesting as well is that just because somebody pulls ahead quickly does not necessarily mean they always win, right? I mean, there's been situations where somebody will rack up points from the very beginning and the underdog just will come up from the bottom and then all of a sudden pull ahead.
Nowhere. Yeah, right. That was something that we actually picked up when we were practicing this. Is like, you can rack up points really, really quickly out of pretty much nowhere. So the potential for the tables to just shift on you are always there. Always there.
Yeah, you can't sleep on your opponent, right? If you just come in just ultra confident and just start getting sloppy because you're winning, I mean, all you're doing is you're giving your opponent an opportunity to catch up.
And it's a head game, man. It's seriously it's a weird, I need to be able to get this guy in this point or this is going to be bad. And it messes with you, dude. It makes me think of like UFC fights where it's just this glorified moment between these two players that are duking it out in some sanctioned way to see who's the best of the best. And it's got like actual impact to watching it, which is super cool.
Yeah. And it's a little bit different because there's other 1v1 formats out there that people have been playing. And there have been a lot of people that are trying to draw comparisons between Ultimate Shootout and the other versions. But the goal of Ultimate Shootout isn't just the 1v1 aspect. We wanted, again, to make it an actual game. That's why there's the multiple buzzers. That's why there's the kill streaks. We wanted people that were gamers to watch it and go, man, there's these different things that I can do in order to earn more points in order to win this match. Right. Because otherwise, then it just comes down to two people shooting at each other from different bunkers. We've all seen that. We all know that already.
Yeah.
But we do a little bit different to make it a little more exciting, a little more interesting, not only for the spectator, but the people that are playing it and the people that have played paintball for a long time.
Tragedy is coming, you better prepare for the worst case scenario.